In this session, we are going to be saying how to connect to the Linux EC2 instance which we had created in the previous session. So we know how to launch a Linux EC2 instance on the AWS platform. So let us now go and connect to the machine. So as a first step, I want you to understand what is called as a terminal emulator. Okay, so there is this tool which we call as a terminal emulator. There are many terminal emulators available for free on the internet. However, there is this terminal emulator which is called Putty. All right. So, what is this terminal emulator meaning? A terminal, right? So, a terminal is the shell to which we are going to connect the shell of a machine. All right, of the Linux machine to which we are going to connect from your machine. So, that is what is called as the terminal. And this emulator, what does an emulator mean? It brings that terminal to your desktop. So that is what is called as the emulator. So together they are called as the terminal emulator, which means that this tool is going to go and bring the shell, the terminal of your Linux machine onto your local desktop or the machine from which you are trying to connect. So this tool is called as the terminal emulator, and Putty is one of the most commonly as well as widely used terminal emulator. Alright, so let's see how to go and get this Putty. First, you have to go and download it from the website putty.org. Go to putty.org and download it from there. You will see download Putty here. You can click on this and you should see this page here. Alright, so now if you look at it, there are two parts of this program that we need to download. So the first part is the SSH and the telnet client, which is the putty.exe. So you have three options here. You have a 64-bit x86 version, you have a 64-bit ARM version, and a 32-bit x86 version. Depending upon the operating system from which you are going to connect to the Linux instance, you please download the correct Putty version. Alright, so for me, I'm using a 64-bit x86 machine. It's a Windows machine, so I'm going to be using the putty.exe. So how can I find this? What machine I'm running? You can just type ms-info on your Windows machine, and you should be seeing it here. System type. You see, it's a x64 based PC. So that is what I am running here. Okay. Okay. So the next part that I need to get is the puttygen.exe, which is a RSA and DSA key generation utility. You remember we had this PEM file generated, and we downloaded the key pair for the machine when we launched the instance, right? So there is a specific process for us to do there. I'll show you in a while. Alright, so there's two parts to it. One is the putty.exe, and another one is the puttygen.exe. So we have to download both the utilities. You can either do that, or you can download this one here, which is a MSI Windows installer. Alright, I can either get the 64-bit x86, and if I'm going to download this version, I will have both the Putty and the puttygen within the same installer. Okay, so please remember that. So in your case, most of the cases would be like, if you'll have to download this 64-bit 0.76, the versions may change. So remember, if you are seeing this, if you're watching this video and you don't find this exact version, probably you would see a later version of it. But I would always suggest you to download it only from putty.org. Please do not download it from any other sources. Alright, now I've downloaded and installed it already on my machine. So you may also download it. You just click on it, and it should be you should be able to download it. It's a very small file, about 3 MB or so. Yeah. So once you've downloaded, install it, and then launch it. All right. So the first step is I have to launch the puttygen, not the Putty yet. Open the puttygen. So what is this puttygen? You remember a PEM file which we downloaded, right? So you have the key which we have associated with this machine. So remember, we've already discussed about this. So there is the key and the lock and the key. Okay, remember the lock is on the operating system. So to go and open the lock and access your operating system, you need the key, and the key name is AWS KP030322, which I have already downloaded. So AWS makes sure that you download it when you're launching the instance, or even before launching the instance. All right. Now, the format in which we downloaded this file was quite different from the format that is required for us. All right. If you look into it, you see here, we downloaded this file which was 030322, but the file version is the PEM file version. So with Putty or any other terminal emulator, you cannot directly use this PEM file to connect to your machine. All right. So for that purpose, to convert, so what we have to do is we have to convert the PEM file to the PPK format. All right. So we are going to download. So what we downloaded here was AWS-KP-KP-030322.pem, right? So this was the version, extension of the file which we downloaded or which we got from AWS. So we have to now convert this into a PPK format. Remember, this is all the private key. All right, your public key is on the server already, so please remember this point. So how am I going to convert this? So open up the Putty gen, and you should be opening up this Putty key generator, and you have the second option here, load an existing private key. Click on this and go to downloads, and by normally you will not see anything here because it's looking for the PPK file automatically. So you have to go and click on all files, and you should be seeing here the file which we downloaded already. So go and open it. So you should see this notice here, successfully imported foreign key. To use this key with Putty, you need to use the save private key command to save it in Putty's own format. Okay. All right. Now that is downloaded, go and remove this comment and add a password to it. Okay. Because this is already a password to log on to the system. You can skip, giving a password. However, I would highly recommend that you add a password to this file too. All right. So I'm just going to give a 8-character password there, and I'm going to save the private key. All right. So I'm going to save it there. Probably I'll save it on my desktop, and I'll call it as AWS-KP-030322, and I'll name it as proof. Okay. So, and remember, it is being saved in the PPK format. Good. Now that it is saved, you can close this. All right. Let us now connect to the server. All right. So open up Putty now. So just type in Putty, and you should see this application open up. And here you should see the session. And here what I want you to do is I want you to enter EC2-user. So this EC2-user is the user ID for logging on to the machine. Remember, whenever you're logging on to any website or any application, you always have a username and password, right? Likewise, you have the username here, which is the EC2-user, followed by the @ symbol and the IP address of the instance, which you can get it from here, right? We have the public IPv4 address generated already. Copy that and paste it here. And you are using port 22. Remember, we have opened port 22 for SSH connectivity already, right? Seems like my account was slow. Yeah, I'm back into it. Okay, so let me come back. So I've given the IP address of the machine. Okay, let me select the instance ID, and I should be able to see more information. Let me go back here. Let's see from here only. Okay, so let me go to the security, and under the security, you should see that port 22 is open, and we explained this in the previous module, and the source is from anywhere. 0000/0 means we are going to allow connectivity from anywhere, right? Yeah, all right. So SSH is there. All right, let me just make a few changes here. You don't have to really do this, but it's good to know, because I'm going to change the font size, and I'm going to change the colors a bit for me to for you to have a better look on it. Okay, so the session part, you remember EC2-user and the IP address. The port number is 22. Your connection type is SSH. Then click under connection, you have SSH here. All right, so click on SSH, expand it. All right, under SSH you will have what you see here is auth. So click on auth, check allow agent forwarding, click on browse, and go and select the key which we just generated, AWS KP030322-priv.ppk. all right, now click on it and go back to your session there. Now click on open. So once I click on open, you should be getting this security alert. All right, it should say something like this: fingerprint is this, and if you trust this host, accept to add the key to Putty's cache and keep on connecting. So what happens is, the first time when you connect to this machine using this PPK file, it's going to ask you for this. This pop-up is going to come and it's going to ask you to accept. However, if you so once you add it, this particular key is going to get added permanently into the SSH configuration of your machine, and you will not be seeing this for further logins, but you can do it for connect once also. I'll give it as accept here, and once I accept, it'll ask me for the passphrase, and this passphrase is the one which we had given when we converted the PEM file to PPK file on the PuttyGen application. Okay, test. Okay, so I've given the passphrase, and now I am able to log on to the machine successfully. I am now logged on as the EC2-user. All right, thank you very much for watching this, and see you in the next class.